All batting all the time. Ted Williams teaches us how to learn. Written by Khatzumoto, posted in April of 2011. Quote, baseball legend Ted Williams was one in a million, widely considered the most gifted hitter of his time. I remember watching one of his home runs from the bleachers of Shebay Park, John Updike wrote in the New Yorker in 1960. It went over the first baseman's head and rose meticulously along a straight line and was still rising when it cleared the fence. The trajectory seemed qualitatively different from anything anyone else might hit. In the public imagination, Williams was almost a god among men, a superhuman endowed with a collection of innate physical gifts, including spectacular eye-hand coordination, exquisite muscular grace, and uncanny instincts. Ted just had that natural ability, said Hall of Fame second baseman Bobby Doerr. He was so far ahead of everybody in that era. Among other traits, Williams was said to have laser-like eyesight, which enabled him to read the spin of a ball as it left the pitcher's fingers and to gauge exactly where it would pass over the plate. Ted Williams sees more of the ball than any man alive, Ty Cobb once remarked. But all that innate miracle man stuff, it was all a lot of bull, said Williams. He insisted his great achievements were simply the sum of what he had put into the game. Nothing except practice will bring out that ability, he explained. The reason I saw things was that I was so intense. It was super discipline, not super eyesight. Is that possible? Could a perfectly ordinary man actually train himself to be a dazzling phenomenon? We all recognize the virtues of practice and hard work, but truly, could any amount of effort transform the clunky motions of a whiffer or a chucker into the majestic swing of Tiger Woods, or the gravity-defying leap of Michael Jordan? Could an ordinary brain ever expand enough to conjure the far-flung curiosities and visions of Einstein or Matisse? Is true greatness obtainable from everyday means and everyday genes? Conventional wisdom says no, that some people are simply born with certain gifts while others are not, that talent and high intelligence are somewhat scarce gems, scattered throughout the human gene pool, that the best we can do is to locate and polish those gems, and accept the limitations built into the rest of us. But someone forgot to tell Ted Williams that talent will out. As a boy, he wasn't interested in watching his natural abilities unfurl passively like a flower in the sunshine. He simply needed, to be the best hitter baseball had ever seen, and he pursued that goal with appropriate ferocity. His whole life was hitting the ball, recalled a boyhood friend. He always had that bat in his hand, and when he made up his mind to do something, he was going to do it or know the reason why. At San Diego's Old North Park Field, 2 blocks from his modest childhood home, friends recall Williams hitting baseballs every waking hour of every day, year after year after year. They describe him slugging balls until their outer shells literally wore off, swinging even splintered bats for hours upon hours, with blisters on his fingers and blood dripping down his wrists. A working-class kid with no extra pocket change, he used his own lunch money to hire schoolmates to shag balls so that he could keep swinging. From age 6 or 7, he would swing the bat at North Park Field all day and night, swing until the city turned off the lights, then he'd walk home and swing a roll of newspaper in front of a mirror until he fell asleep. The next day, he'd do it all over again. Friends say he attended school only to play on the team. When baseball season ended and the other kids moved on to basketball and football, Williams stuck with baseball. When other kids started dating girls, Williams just kept hitting balls in North Park Field. In order to strengthen his sight, he would walk down the street with one eye covered and then the other. He even avoided movie theaters because he'd heard that it was bad for the eyes. I wasn't going to let anything stop me from being the hitter I hoped to be, Williams later recalled. Looking back, it was pretty near storybook devotion. In other words, he worked for it, fiercely, single-mindedly, far beyond the norm. He had one thought in mind and he always followed it, said his high school coach, Was Caldwell. Greatness was not a thing to Ted Williams, it was a process. This didn't stop after he got drafted into professional baseball. In Williams' first season in the minor league San Diego Padres, coach Frank Schellenbach noticed that his new recruit was always the first to show up for practice in the morning and the last to leave at night. And something more curious, after each game, Williams would ask the coach for the used game balls. "What do you want to do with all these baseballs?" Schellenbach finally asked Williams one day. "Sell them to the kids in the neighborhood?" "No, sir," replied Williams. "I use them for a little extra hitting practice after supper." Knowing the rigors of the full practice day, Schellenbach found the answer hard to swallow. Out of a mix of suspicion and curiosity, he later recalled, "I piled into my car after supper one night and rode around to Williams' neighborhood. There was a playground near his home, and sure enough, I saw the kid himself driving those 2 battered baseballs all over the field. Ted was standing close to a rock which served as home plate. One kid was pitching to him, a half dozen others were shagging his drives. The stitching was already falling apart on the baseballs I had just given him." Even among the pros, Williams' intensity stood so far outside the norm that it was often uncomfortable to witness up close. He discussed the science of hitting ad nauseum with teammates and opposing players. Write biographers Jim Prime and Bill Nolan. He sought out the great hitters of the game, Hornsby, Cobb, and others, and grilled them about their techniques. He studied pitchers with the same rigor. After a while, pitchers figure out batters' weaknesses, said Cedric Durst, who played on the Padres with Williams. Williams wasn't like that. Instead of them figuring Ted out, he figured them out. The first time Ted saw Tony Freda's pitch, we were sitting side by side on the bench and Ted said, "This guy won't give me a fastball I can hit. He'll waste the fastball and try to make me hit the curve. He'll get behind on the count, then throw me the curve." And that's exactly what happened. Process. After a decade of relentless effort on North Park Field and 4 impressive years in the minors, Williams came into the major leagues in 1939 as an explosive hitter and just kept getting better and better and better. In 1941, his 3rd season with the Boston Red Sox, he became the only major league player in his era, and the last in the 20th century, to bat over .400 for a full season. The next year, 1942, Ted Williams enlisted in the Navy as an aviator. Tests revealed his vision to be excellent, but well within ordinary human range. End quote. Excerpted from the book The Genius in All of Us: Why Everything You've Been Told About Genetics, Talent, and IQ is Wrong by David Schenk.